Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at some proving. And when you guys do proving, probably the easiest thing to do, in my opinion, is that if you're stuck, I'll do my statements and my reasons here. But if you're stuck, then what I would do is I would just say, like, okay, what am I trying to solve, right? So my end goal is to get this angle measurement. Okay, well, how am I going to get there? I have to first start off with what I'm given. GFI is equal to 128, right? So it means this whole GFI, so this whole angle is 128. Okay, well, what do we know? And I haven't started writing out any of my reasons yet for a reason. Yeah, no, that's kind of funny. But I know that measure angle GFE plus the measure of angle EFI, right? So the one we're looking for in this one here, that's equal to the measure of angle GFI by the segment addition postulate. But I will write out why later. And then what I know is that by substitution, 9x minus 2 plus 4x is equal to 128. Okay. After that, what would we do? We'd solve for x. So I go 13x minus 2 is equal to 128, right? And then I would subtract both, or add both sides to, add 2 to both sides. So that gives me 130. And then my last step would be to get x is equal to 10. And then I go back and I look, oh man, I gotta do this. So then 7 measure of angle EFI is equal to 4 times 10. And then my last thing is measure angle EFI is equal to 40. So now, and realistically, all I did was I was like, how am I going to solve for x first, right? Before I solve for the angle. So then I can go through later and do my reasons. So that's given. This is segment addition postulate. Sorry, not segment. Oh my gosh. It's very late right now. Angle addition postulate. And then 3 is substitution. And then 4 is combined like terms. And then 5 is division property. Of equality. Because there's an equal sign. Oh, I lied. 5 is, we'll call this 6. 5 is addition property. I got ahead of myself. And step 5 is that way because I added 2 to both sides. And then, okay, division property divided both sides by 13. Okay. So then 7 is substitution. Because I substituted 10 in. And then 8 is combined like terms. And that's your first proof. And what you notice is that what I try to do is give you these open-ended proofs, right? With your first questions, so that we're not doing open-ended proofs at the last part of the assignment where you would be taking this home. So I wanted all the easier ones to be done at home and the hard ones to be done in class. I almost said that backwards. Okay. Statements, reasons. And what am I trying to prove? I am trying to prove 2 is congruent to 3. Okay. So first thing is I will start off with A is parallel to B. And so if A is parallel to B, then we know that measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 is equal to 180. And measure of angle 3 plus measure of angle 4 is also 180. And then we know by substitution, because I can substitute, or I could substitute one of the 180s in for the other. Measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to measure of angle 3 plus measure of angle 4. And then after that, what I know is that angle 1 is congruent to angle 4, which means that measure of angle 1 is equal to measure of angle 4, which then means that measure of angle 4 plus measure of angle 2 is equal to measure of angle 3 plus measure of angle 4. And then, I don't know why I just put a 3 there. 7 would be measure of angle 2 is equal to measure of angle 3. And then 8 is, oops, not an M. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. So 1 is given. This is same side, interior angles. And then 3 is substitution. And then 4 is given. Oops. And then 5 is definition of congruency. And then 6 is substitution. And then 7 is subtraction. Property of equality. And then 8 is definition of congruency. Okay? And there's 4, and here's 5. Yay! We're at the fill in the blank spot. So that means that the rest of the assignment is Swiss cheese. Okay, so W and V are congruent because it is given. And then because congruent angles have the same measure, measure of angle W is equal to measure of angle V. Angle W and V are supplementary because it's given. By the definition of supplementary angles, the angles add up to 180 degrees. And then by the division property of equality, W is 90. Since W and V are equal to each other, V is 90 by the transitive property, so both angles are right angles. Okay? All right, so 6. Oh, I guess that's not Swiss cheese. I thought they were all Swiss cheese after I got to fill in the blank one. Okay. So now we'll jump down to 7. So let's see. 3 is congruent to 6 because they're vertical angles. And then transitive property would say that angle 1 is congruent to angle 6. And then 1 is congruent to 4 because of vertical angles. And then this is transitive of congruence. And then there's 8, and then here's 9. So 9 is the last one that I will do. Okay, given 2 and 3 are supplementary because they're same side, interior angles. C is parallel to D. That's given. 1 and 2 are supplementary. Those are also same side interior. I forgot the word side. And then 1 is congruent to 3 by substitution. You always have to think about substitution as like plugging in. Okay. So it is different than the transitive property. Okay. All right. So that's it for this problem set.